Hello viewers and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And according to Steve Hank, Zimbabwe is now ranked a horrific 158th out of 180 countries in Anti-Corruption's 2024 Corruption Perception Index. This is what is happening. Pamsoro pe Zimbabwe tiri kuti kudini? Tiri kuti panyaya dzecorruption Zimbabwe inongokundwa nenyika dziri less than 30, because 158 less 180 unongoona wegawo kuti zvinhu zvacho zvisina kumira zvakanaka. And Zimbabwe is now one of the most corrupt countries in the whole world. So President Mnangagwa remains arrogant. He remains corrupted, incompetent. Why? Christopher Mchangwa recently confirmed that President Mnangagwa facilitated the release of Neville Mchangwa, who was arrested for corruption. He is the facilitator. Wikinel Chivayo boasted kuti ndakachibata kuti dzvi. He was never arrested. Instead, Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu, who are believed to be whistleblowers, got arrested. We have seen several cases of corruption happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. Priska Mfumira, the case died a natural death. Obadiah Moyo was fired, but the case died a natural death. Samuel Undenge was convicted, and guess who made him not go to jail? It's the president who pardoned him. And these cases are so many. So Zimbabwe has become corrupt, that if you go to the nurses, you go to the teachers, you go to the police officers, the civil service in general, you ask them, how are you able to send your kids to school? How are you able to buy food and clothing? How are you able to buy lunch? They will not explain. Why? It's because kana asiri kutengesa maswiti na mazepe, he is stealing. That is the honest truth. So it's either he is selling something, or they are stealing, or the wife is working elsewhere where they are putting resources together. Kana asina ka business, ma partners esa asiri kushanda, vari kutora mari. That is the honest truth. So if you look at it, you can actually see that Zimbabwe is being destroyed because of corruption. Every roadblock you go, enda unoswera uri pa roadblock zvako wakagara from a distance uchiobserver. Vakomana vemakombi kuburuka, omanya, ona utaura 2 minutes, omanya mukomana. And you see cars, vehicles which are not fit to be on the road, driving freely past the roadblocks. That is a sign yekuti corruption yakakura sei zvakaita semunyika. Whenever you see a car which is not roadworthy, just know kuti it has passed through several roadblocks, and the police officers have allowed it to pass through. The VID officers have allowed it to pass through. Everyone is allowing those vehicles to pass through. When you see rogue drivers, when you see human error, accidents happening, just know that these drivers are passing through a very 100% corrupt VID, where whether you can drive or not, varikuda mari. The biggest problem is that the corruption is now starting at obtaining the driver's license. People are no longer reading to pass, to know the road regulations. They are now reading to pass, which means they will be given examination papers which they are going to face. They will get those examination papers. After getting those examination papers, they will get into the exam knowing the answers already. So the moment he sees something, he knows the answer. With the moment he sees something, he knows the answer. They no longer study You know, we need drivers who go and sit down and learn how to drive. Then they go to write examinations. They pass on merit. Then you go on to the driving school. You are taught how to drive and everything else. You go to the VID. You pass on merit. That is no longer happening. So we are creating drivers who pay something for the VID officer, and they will risk the lives of the people. So whatever which we are seeing right now is because our people are no longer learning how to drive. Defensive driving is no longer effective in Zimbabwe. Nothing is working. As long as there is corruption, nothing works. You go to the hospitals, there is no medication because nurses who can't afford. Vakuburitsa mishonga nekuseri. Mishonga ichenda. That is now the norm. For you to be treated early, unozoendawo nekuseri oti naye masista ndinokanguka 5 aka. Then you are given a preferential treatment. It's happening as we speak right now. You go to the teachers will tell you kuti mwana wenyu aite zvakanaka anofana kuya kuma extra lessons. How much are the extra lessons? $5, $10, $15, $20. And ukasaendesa mwana wako kuma extra lessons, if you fail to send your kids to those extra lessons, they are going to fail. They are going to miss a lot of lessons, which means they won't be as competent as they are supposed to be in school. So the list is endless in terms of corruption. Everywhere you go to the registrar's office, unofana usiya something. Go everywhere, anywhere you go, you have to leave something. The judiciary, the magistrates are now being paid. The PPs are now being paid for them to drop cases. So this is the cycle. Police officers, sometimes they'll arrest a criminal and they'll be surprised to hear that this person, with all the evidence we have supplied, this person has won this case. How? This is what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. So do you think that police officer, if tomorrow is offered $50, do you think is going to bring that criminal to court? No, he won't. You will accept the bribe and you keep quiet. This is what is killing Zimbabwe. This is what is destroying Zimbabwe. Then the country will be losing the majority of its revenue. How do they compensate for lost revenue? These boys and girls in the Ministry of Finance and at the RBZ, they'll put some policies in place. They'll put more taxes onto the people. The taxation is very, very high. And the problem continues. Shops start to close. Businesses start to collapse. Jobs. People start to lose jobs. All these is effects of corruption. And at a certain point in time, we need to agree as a people to say, enough is enough. Zimbabwe cannot continue to be what it is because of corruption. Because of corruption, gold in Zimbabwe, the country only benefits 5% or less. And individuals, conglomerates, companies, they benefit 95% of our gold. So they will come, they will mine gold, they will take away 95%, and 5% goes to the nation. And it might be lower because of smuggling which is happening, where the country ends up not getting any dime in terms of tax. This is what is happening. Zimbabwe does have so much minerals. chrome, gold, diamonds, platinum, lithium, name them, granite. But the country is relying heavily on taxes as if it doesn't have minerals. The healthcare can be funded by our minerals. The education sector can be funded by our minerals. In fact, the whole government can even remove all taxes on anything and can survive on minerals alone. But they don't want, because they are enriching themselves through mining of minerals. They own each and every inch of mines and they pocket everything. And yet they make the country survive on high and exorbitant taxation. This is how they live. So Zimbabwe has become corrupt. It has become a country led by incompetent and clueless people. And the time is now for us to say, let us fight for change. Let us speak with one voice. Let us make sure that the criminals, they fall. Let us make sure that the looters, they fall.